everyone, this is Yael from Yael Alchemy, and I'm here to bring you the message of the Divine Feminine to her beloved, the Divine Masculine, for the week of October 14th to the 20th. Okay, so if you've gotten to this video, I hope you've watched the two other videos that I put up this week, which would be the Twin Flame Weekly and the message of the Divine Masculine, because they're really all interconnected. Okay, so anyway, I've already prayed over the cards and shuffled them, and at the bottom of the deck, which usually tells us about the state of the Divine Feminine, we see here the Eight of Cups. And what I'm getting from this, although this also appeared in Twin Flame Weekly, the Eight of Pentacles, rather, I said Cups. The Eight of Pentacles, this is a preoccupation of the Divine Feminine, of how things will fall into place when it comes to the divine plan. Okay? As I mentioned in the Twin Flame Weekly, there is a search for satisfaction by both parties. While they are grateful for what they have in their life, especially the Divine Feminine, there are certain things that she wants in 3D in order to heighten her experience in a physical body in this current incarnation, which and now she's wondering if she will ever get them, if it is part of her destiny here while being incarnated. So there, she's working on that, because she has already some of these pentacles here that she's already accomplished, but she's still working on some other things. Okay, see, and part of that wondering is actually this setup. Okay, so even if you still check out your spiritual groups, there are twin flames that have come into union. That is not the majority. So don't feel alone if you're not yet in physical union. And when I say that, still in a committed relationship with your twin flame, or living physically together, living a life together, a shared life physically, that's really not the norm, the majority. Okay, so the wondering of the Divine Feminine has to do with that. This setup, the traditional setup of a committed relationship here, and this goes to thinking whether or not this is really destined for her. And I mentioned that that isn't the norm, because really, when you have a job to do, you're placed in a situation wherein you can more effectively do your job. Okay? That's why, let's see. That's why most people in power, even if the traditional setup would be, married with a family. If you're running for politics, it's better to run as a family man because of the visual that it paints, instead of a bachelor. But actually, the bachelor would have more time to devote to, because his concern would be focused solely on his job. But that doesn't look good with the public. Okay? So if you're gunning for office, the visuals would dictate that a better candidate would be a family man with a family. But in these cases, almost all the time, okay, never mind what the press says, because, they're mostly publicists and they have to paint a pretty picture. That's their job. But the families, they suffer, okay, because they feel that they have to sacrifice family time with their dad, if their dad's in power, with their mom, if their mom's in power, for the greater good, like running the country or something else. Okay? But see, that's why it is sometimes arranged by the divine that both of you and your twin are connected energetically, telepathically, okay, but not physically together, because you have time and the space to work on, number one, issues for personal ascension, and number two, to really amplify the third energy that both of you generate, that you would generate less of if you were together, given, okay, there's a disclaimer there, given where you are individually in your twin flame ascension journey. Okay, so here, see, so there's the Page of Cups there, and that is affection, offering love, and there's the wondering there. And she's saying that it's either she needs to start over again, or that it's not going anywhere. That's what she's saying. This traditional concept of giving all the love she has to this structure, it's zero in the meantime, and that's where all this wondering is happening. And now she wants that in 3D, in the physical, that she wants someone that she can share with, even if it's like she's saying, even if he's not her twin flame. So basically a companion. You can see they're at different levels. That's why this guy, he's the one being generous. The others are the ones in need. Okay? And that's what basically she is hoping for this time. And that's her honest truth. See there, the King of Swords. So there. But she does this very lovingly, very understandingly, because this is something that she'd like to experience in 3D. So she's not throwing a tantrum saying, if you don't show up, if you don't come together with me, I'm going to be with someone else. It's not like that. It is like that, but the appreciation is very much different from somebody who resents the situation and someone who wants to make the best out of the situation. And the divine feminines, depending where you are in your in the spectrum, you can either be resentful of the fact that you still haven't come into physical union, or you understand why you're still not into physical union, and then you want to make the most of your journey here on earth, so to speak. And so that's why, look, companion that just reciprocates. Okay, and that's what she's hoping for. But this is the wisdom that comes with it, knowing exactly what she'll get into. Okay, so as far for the message of the Divine Feminine to her beloved, let's look at the cards. We have here the Nine of Wands, Queen of Pentacles, Queen of Wands, Three of Wands, and the Five of Pentacles. Okay, look at this. Here, this is part of the message of the Divine Feminine, speaking to the newly awakened feminine aspect of her beloved. First, she's saying that you're nearly there, okay? Now, all these desires, which are a very masculine trait, very predatory, a lot of them are behind him now. And now he has a singular desire to actually move forward, okay? He's a bit exhausted about his journey. The Divine Feminine gets that, but he's just waiting for guidance, for something else. Remember, if you watch Twin Flame Weekly, they're both sort of at a conceptual impasse wherein they had to make some decisions on how to move forward. So here is the divine masculine holding this single wand with his other desires, worldly desires behind him, and here wanting to move forward. And the divine feminine is saying, look here, Queen of Pentacles. He's already imbibed that, the divine masculine. Okay, but before, it's like, if before the soul or the primary concern was to be a provider, this time a divine feminine telling her beloved that you have embraced this side of you. You're not only a provider, you must only provide. It's better if you would also nurture. And that's what the Queen of Pentacles is about. Practical, taking care of things. She's like the mommy energy, wherein you can rely on. You know what? There are families wherein the kids can't really speak or talk or don't really have a relationship with the father because very rigid. But they have more of a bond with the moms. Okay? And since that's what the divine feminine is actually mentoring the divine masculine in, that when it comes to 3D, in your 3D relationships, you can see there you don't need to posture. You know, the peacocks, they fan their tails when they're posturing, especially when they're mating. But you can see the tail of this peacock is down. So he doesn't need to posture. He just needs to do what he has to do to it's like to relate with others from the heart. And that would be very healing for him as well. That's what the divine feminine is saying. And number 2, Queen of Wands. The wands, his desires, tempered again by the feminine, divine feminine energy. Okay? Wherein strong but gentle. You have the Queen of Wands. She's very fiery, but intuitive. Okay? With empathy. Not just railroading whatever he wants to happen, but really taking into consideration what everyone else feels. And he has these 2 sort of new tools in his arsenal, and divine feminine is telling him how to use it moving forward, because that's where, if you see the Twin Flame Weekly, that's where he's at. He's looking forward, but now he's doing it. You can see his cloak here. It's green. And these messages are coming to him in the form of the seagulls. And but he's looking forward now. Some of his desires are already behind him. This is the same desire that he wants, to live authentically and to live from the heart. That's why his cloak is green. And he is looking at how he's going to move forward. And divine feminine is telling him that, look, you have all these tools in your arsenal and you get to use them. And since you do have it, and we have the 5 of Pentacles here, and because Pentacles relate to tangible things, usually 3D situations, she's telling him not to be, don't hesitate to ask for help when you need it. There's nothing to be ashamed of when you ask for help, especially if he is asking for help from the divine feminine who is operating from the heart. You can see her cloak here, again green, symbolic of the heart chakra. Okay? And this energy, that the letting go of that pride, because usually for divine masculines, a big ego issue that they have to resolve is their pride. Okay? And they don't want to be asking for help because, you know, they are expected to be the ones providing the solution and not the ones asking for help. But here, that kind of attitude is already bridged by the light. Okay? Because here in this 3D situation, not everything will be fixed in the proper place as you envisioned it. Because depending on when you have been clear about what you want, when you can manifest without blockages, and of course, because it's 3D, there are other people whose wills, whose desires you have to take into account before they manifest. Not everything will be ironed out already. And that's the situation of the Divine Masculine. And she's saying that, look, moving forward, don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to reach out to those who can understand you, because that gap, no matter how big you think it is, that is going to be bridged by the light, and that's going to illuminate all your interactions together. It's like a filter. You go on Instagram and you have a photo, and sometimes it looks better with a filter, okay, because you see it through different lens. And these awakened people, especially the Divine Feminine, they will see your situation in a different light, okay, without the judgment that the Divine Masculine is used to expecting from other people, saying that he's weak because, you know, he can't solve the problem. He is the problem, or he's the one seeking for help. So that would be the message of the Divine Masculine to her beloved this week, to get all that together. Okay, and yes, we hope that all the Divine Masculines listening to this reading, that they find their strength in their humility and their grace. Okay, so that's what I have for you. I am open for personal readings and healings. Please do visit the website when you have the time and the inclination, of course. Okay, take care, everyone. Have a wonderful week ahead. Bye.